Dr. Anthony Harper here at the White House to get a response from this administration to a recent letter from the International Christian Embassy of Jerusalem that is requesting President Biden to support Israel and combat anti-Semitism. And in that letter, they are asking President Biden not to make any deal with Iran, Israel's arch enemy, and also to oppose BDS, which stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions of Israeli Products. Interesting that that letter comes out the same day that I'm having an intense encounter with White House Press Secretary Jennifer Psaki concerning anti-Semitism. Last week I had an intense encounter with White House Press Secretary Jennifer Psaki. I introduced myself to her and showed my picture with the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who I was introduced to concerning the anti-Semitic UN agency UNRWA. I asked her specific questions about what this administration response is going to be to the desecration of the Jewish cemetery in Vilnius, Lithuania. More information about that, by the way, is on their website, savevilna.org, but also the Jewish cemetery desecration in Lviv, Ukraine. In addition, I asked her about a response to BDS, which is a boycott, divestment, and sanctions of Israeli products, and the anti-Semitic UN agency UNRWA. Press Secretary Psaki gave me a no-comment response. Here at the White House to get a response from this administration to a recent complaint letter of journalists concerning press access and their concerns specifically about freedom of the press and how some journalists are having their COVID-19 testing paid for by the White House, whereas other journalists cannot, and then there's restricted press access. Most of the journalists are only allowed to be here once a week. So this letter complaint was sent to the White House Press Secretary Jennifer Psaki and awaiting a response from this administration concerned about that limited press access that journalists are having. Here at the White House to get a response to concerns about human rights violations of China, specifically in dealing with the Uyghur people. These are the people in the province of East Turkestan, and I had an interview with the Prime Minister of East Turkestan. His name is Prime Minister Hudiyar. You can find out more about my interview by looking on YouTube and searching for Dr. Anthony Harper and Prime Minister Hudiyar. But he shared some very disturbing concerns about organ harvesting, slave labor, and so many other human rights violations, the suppression of the Uyghur people. There's also concerns that many evangelical Christians have of human rights violations in the form of persecutions of Christians there, and abortion, of China's killing of many children in abortion. A backdrop to all these concerns would be the Equality Act, the ongoing concerns about normalizing homosexuality, those concerns of many evangelical Christians, Orthodox Jews, and including the LDS Church, who has recently condemned the Equality Act in opposition to that. This would greatly impact regarding foster care, operation of churches, bathrooms, women's sports, girls' sports, and so much more. This would be an expansion of the Civil Rights Act. Also would be the concern about H.R. 1. This would be a bill to, many would say in the evangelical Christian community as well as Orthodox Jews, that this would normalize mail-in balloting. This would make the recent experience we've had concerned about voter fraud even much more extensive when we think about what has been happening with the border, with a lot of immigration coming in, a lot of illegals coming into our country. A lot of serious concerns from America that is, of course, serious and troubling, especially in light of when we think about what President Lincoln had to say in the middle of the Civil War, when he said in this humiliation and fasting proclamation that America is a nation that has forgotten God. We have become too proud and too arrogant and too self-reliant, too proud to pray to the one that created us. And he called for a time of national repentance of our many national sins and quoted from Psalms 33:12, "Blessed only are the nations whose God is the Lord."